What is the abundance mindset? What are some parenting secrets for sustainability? And should we always eat everything in our porridge? If you'd like to find out, then you're in the right place. Welcome to Between Views. I'm your host, Alec Koski. This podcast aims to cast light on and connect you with inspirational people, identify them as potential mentors in your journey, and share their stories and wisdom with the world. In this episode, we converse with Benjie Williams about community, inspirational teachers, parenting, and opportunity. Just before we get started, if you enjoy listening to this episode, I'd like to invite you to leave a star rating on whichever service you found us, and also the opportunity to join the Between Views Patreon community. This is the best way you can support the podcast. Here's our final part. We hope you enjoy. The next part, I feel like you've already mentioned him 3, perhaps 4 times. Would you say that this, what was his name again?
Arthur Hull.
Arthur Hull.
Yeah.
Would you say he's your mentor?
Oh, he's definitely one of them. You know, Arthur's had a big influence. But see, Arthur's got a lot of underlings that are super skilled, intelligent, wise people in the drum circle facilitation kind of global movement. And I've learnt from those guys as well. So they are my community, my fabric, my teachers, my mentors. Not always, there's no contractual arrangement.
No.
They don't probably even know the impact. But because for me, life is lifelong learning. I'm a sponge. I'm always open to change, to learn. My teacher at Steiner School said, everybody's got a lesson to teach you as long as you can listen. So for me, I was at school, youngster in early high school. So just be open to everybody. So I've done a lot of listening. I do talk a lot. I like to talk. I can talk to anybody.
That's a good skill though.
It's just who I am, Just naturally. It's innate, That's I don't. Fortunate. And people have complimented me and queried me how to do that. It's just it's listening, But I have taken a teacher role. My dad was a great teacher.
Oh yeah.
And in drumming, I'm a teacher. At TAFE, I was a teacher. And I'm just teaching people what I know, and
So you've just done what you naturally are. You've just listened to that and just pursued those things instead. Yeah,
I could have done a science degree looking at ants, and ants are fascinating in Australia. They mobilise nutrients in the Australian bush like rodents do in South America. Because there's much more nutrients in the Amazon. Rodents are larger. They can take away the berries and move them around the forest, birds and stuff. Ants here, because Australia is so deprived of nutrients, we scale it down. And the ants carry the seeds around, right? Fascinating. So many varieties of ants in Australia. I was so intrigued that I thought, maybe I can do my honours on the ants. But then I thought, well, what am I going to set my life up to be like? Going around conferences after conference, hanging out with people to study ants. That's not me. So I had to do something bigger.
Alternate reality, Benjie.
The
master of ants.
This
workshop would look quite different, wouldn't it?
Certainly would. So, I don't know.
150,000 ants or more instead of 150 drums.
That's right. Little ant colonies around. But just it's sliding door moments, right? Making those choices. What's more important to you? Like, what's your life going to lead you down that path? And then present the opportunities. For me, going to university was all about just opportunities, opening doors.
Yeah.
And here I am now, 47, father of two, and the opportunities are less, they seem, but there's always things you can do with your life, and change. And running the business, it is hard, like maintaining a business, being a sole provider for 3 dependents, a musician in Australia, but it's going, and I'm thankful, but I work hard at it. Yeah.
Got to keep at it.
Yep.
Wow. What I want to ask you more specifically about, you mentioned 2 mentors now, Arthur Hull and your own father. What is it about them that makes them so special for you?
Confidence is a big thing. Wisdom is the other. John Maye is my first drum teacher from the Blue Mountains, that first teacher ever.
His name's John Mayer?
John Maye.
Oh, John Maye.
Yeah,
okay.
No, not Mayer, yeah. John Maye, incredible, insightful, wise, and also very good listeners, good storytellers as well. Yeah.
What do you do that John Maye, Arthur Hull and your father do?
Oh, well, I'm definitely a good listener. I can speak as well. Like I can, speaking is always difficult to control the length of how the responses you give, and read your audience. But I listen, and I accumulate knowledge. I think that's really important, just to remember all those gifts that you've got, you've received through your life. Keep them active. I don't know. That's probably it. In a nutshell. Yeah.
Are you a natural listener, or did you have to learn it?
No, I was always quiet as a kid.
So you're an observer from the get-go.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I love people. So I know I'm an extrovert because I love being around massive groups of people. But I'm an introvert at the same time because I'm super, super private about my private life, and I don't like people knowing about it.
Yeah, right.
And I like to keep my family safe from, everything that's out there.
Gotcha.
But I let people in. I don't shut people off.
Yeah.
I let certain community members in, but I also I get recharged with my own, being in my own time, in my own space, and I'm happy in my own company.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. So surfing is great for that.
Very good.
Why don't you go surfing with other people? Well, because I'm happy to do it by myself.
Yeah.
I'm happy to go with mates.
Yeah.
But often the schedules don't work out or whatever.
Yeah. So I'm the opposite with that one. I find them with surfing, I prefer to be with a bunch of people I know because it's really fun. I can go on my own and have a time of my life. Yeah. But it's just more fun when there's more people hooting and hollering, I've found, for me personally.
Totally.
Amazing. What about like books, info or travels that have inspired you? Like what are some like moments that you think back on in your life or books and you're like, "Poor, that was rich with information for me."
Yeah. A book that I couldn't tell you too much of the content, but Ishmael, it was, by, I think it was Neale Donald Walsh wrote. No, he wrote Conversations with God, Neale Donald Walsh. Somebody else wrote Ishmael.
I've heard about that before, that Conversations with God one.
He
wrote him to himself, didn't he? He just wrote on a page to himself. And
that's right. Channeling God, apparently.
Yeah.
My mate. Interesting book. I liked Siddhartha. So Siddhartha is the book about the Brahmin. Basically the book of Buddha.
Yeah, how Buddha came to be, basically, right?
How he came to be and how he ended up just being pretty much a ferryman. Was where he ultimately ended up being content in life. So born with the silver spoon, massive spiritual journey, but where all the things he left behind and where he ended up for his own inner peace was to ferry people across a river. I mean, that's a great story. Know, because we all aim sometimes, not all, a lot of us aspirational people aim for big heights, but ultimately, what is it that you want in life? And a lot of us want contentment, enough money to be content, enough people and happiness around us to be content. And what people that are older say is that money can't buy youth, you know. So that's a really interesting concept for me right now, as I am in my sort of middle aged, I would say, you know, as I approach 50, and have ticked off a lot of boxes, because I have travelled, but I travelled so many countries before the age of 5 with my parents. They dragged me all around the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They set you up for it.
And for me, if you ask me where should people travel to, I say everywhere. There's so much to learn, so much to see. I haven't got enough time in this lifetime to see all the places I'd like to go to. I've travelled, I've seen, ticked off a lot of boxes, but there's vastly more that I'd love to see of this incredible planet.
Where was a country you went to that like really changed the game for you in terms of thought about how the world is?
I don't know. Like different locations. The US. I never considered. The US was mind blowing. I travelled from California, Idaho, Montana in 3 months. I went pretty much on a hot springs tour with my partner. At that stage, we went to Montana and the Big Plains. I stood in Glacier National Park, where this huge mountain over 10,000 feet, 4,000 metres, it went into the Hudson Bay, Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic or something, this three-way watershed. But I looked out on the plains, the endless plains of where those buffalo roam, and for me it was abundance and expansive. There was 100 kilometres of cornfields at one point. And then to look out on the plains of Montana, the mountains are soaring into the sky. It's huge. Things are big in the States. You can see how they built the wealth. But then going to places like Vietnam, where there's 14 lanes of motorbikes coming one way, and you have to take your life in your hands in the city. And then I go to the old villages of Vietnam, and I had a village chief offer me a banana. He'd been to the local markets off his push bike. He's sitting there in the shade, and everybody trying to be taking something from me the whole time I was there, because I'm a tourist. But this man with the least offered me the most, you know.
Wow.
So it's just traveling is like moments like that, of learning and being aware. I mean, I travelled to WA when my first relationship broke down, and my parents were splitting up, and I wanted to get away from them and the Olympics. I didn't want to be part of the Olympics. Nothing personal, but then I met people over in WA that were cycling back across Australia, and we did a big 5,500 kilometre push bike ride. Yeah. So that's incredible, you know. So travel, always. Yeah. Be open to travel.
Be open to travel always.
Yeah.
I can take that advice. That's for sure. Brilliant. The thing that popped up for me then, and is something that I am personally struggling with now, would be, you said something along the lines of aspirational. You mentioned something about aspirational people, and what I want to ask you about that is, when you're an aspirational person, you can really get excited about a lot of things. And you can take on a lot too, because you're like, I can do this.
Right.
When you're an aspirational person, you have all these great ideas and all these opportunities.
Yeah.
How do you know which are the ones to focus most on? You know, how do you keep it at bay when you've got all of these ideas and opportunities, things flowing in? How do you choose?
Easy.
What's your pick?
You write it all down.
Yeah.
And you choose the ones that turn you on the most. If you really want to follow your dream, and then if you take that off the list, you know that's the wrong choice. So you put it back on the list, take something else off. And so business tips, what I didn't say is be strategic, right? But what you say no to is just so important. And it's as important as what you say yes to, because what you say no to allows you to focus on what it is you're going to do, and keep clear to that, and just let it sit with you. You know, like, what is it? So what is your intention? What is your mission? What are you going to create? And then, is that for you, for others? You know, it doesn't matter what it's for, but if it sparks, like Marie Kondo, the organised lady, she organises undies and socks in drawers for people, and they go, wow, that's amazing, great for OCD people. But the thing is, that sort of stuff, her line is what sparks joy, right? Key line. So if it sparks joy for you, you know it's a winner for you.
Okay. And like Siddhartha, if that's being a ferryman, or a podcaster, or a drum facilitator, that's what it is.
It's what it is. So if you need to make it financial, it's like, okay, so how are other people making money out of this if it needs to be financial?
That's a great question. I got tingles when you said that one.
So Joe Rogan, key podcaster, right? But Diary of a CEO, that guy. So many popular podcasters out there. And what is it how is it that they made the money? I don't know, because that's not me, right? But I know that Joe Rogan, he speaks for a living, but he's smart, he's got something to offer, he listens a lot, he gets interesting guests. So there's just the formula that he has. What is the formula? You just study what each one of those podcasts, what's the format, what's appealing, what is it that he repeats each time. Look at the patterns, look at the rhythm, you know. So that's the thing you've got to pick out. I did 10 days of Vipassana, 10 days of silent meditation, and Goenka's the teacher, he says, if I give you a bowl of porridge in the morning and that's the only thing you can eat, I will give it to you with all the things in it that I think are necessary in a bowl of porridge. But that's my job, to nurture and give you sustenance. But your job as the receiver is to look at it and take out the things that don't serve you, right? You don't have to be humble and eat the whole thing. So make it work for yourself, you know. It sat with me for a long time. Maybe it was because I was in the moment of 10 days of silence.
That's interesting. That contrasts for me against an idea of... So I've got this idea, which I got from The Alchemist, and it's about when life gives you a gift, you should take it, because otherwise life might stop giving. So that still applies. Yes, accept it, but once you have the gift, it's yours, and you're able to look at that gift and be like, these are the things that I've been given that are very useful for me. If I actually eat that thing might be poisonous for me. I don't need to have that. I'm going to take it out. Say no to things, right?
No.
It's the things you say no to which actually allow you to take, in the bowl of porridge example, all the nutrients in, and then carry on forward.
Look, I think, you know, there's the scarcity model and the abundance model, right?
Ooh.
So if you think life is scarce and there's lack of resources, well, you're going to live like that. And if you think there's abundant and there's always opportunity, unfortunately, you might live with regret because you say no or you don't take a gift. But for me, my model is that there will be more opportunity. It will come. Don't keep saying no. You've got to say yes to something. Be prudent, right, with your choice, and take an option. Don't always say no. You know, take an option, because sometimes there's people that, you know, they're like, I love it. Not love at first sight, first dates, right? And these people say, oh, I want this, and this, and people get, wow, such an extensive list of what they're going to have in a partner, that they're not open to the people that present themselves ahead, right? So you just got to, there's opportunities for me, there's always opportunities. It's just a matter of clarity to see them and being open, because there's a shitload more resources out there than any one of us can ever absorb.
Where do the opportunities come from?
Your community, right? The people you know, the people you reach out with. Your community is there for you as much as you are there for them. Well,
opportunities come from your community, and you're in a lot of communities.
Okay. Never close your community bubbles down. Network, key business, tool as well. Network, know people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Have them and make impact those first moments on everybody.
How do you make an impact?
Well, you be you. That's all you can do. Yeah. But do something that impresses them. Like remember their name. It's key. It's so easy.
Yeah.
That's one simple.
What's your technique for remembering names?
Say when we shake hands.
Yeah.
If it was the first time, I've seen your name written down, so we've had plenty of time to remember it. But if we'd met just first time here, you'd say your name and I would say it back to you.
Yeah.
I would say it. Now that can lead to an awkward moment where I say Alec and you say, and if you hadn't met me, you go, oh Alec, you're Alec. That can happen.
Yeah, true.
But that is a humorous moment. It can be.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's worth doing. I've learned that from another of my mentors as well. It's worth just putting that extra effort in just to take the time to remember someone's name, because just that simple act can make someone feel that they're there. Just knowing someone's name can make them feel that they're valued, that they're there, and that can be the changing point for them in that day. Everybody
wants to be seen and heard, right? So if you see and hear people, everybody that you come into contact, and you look them in the eyes, your body language is non-threatening but confident.
Yeah.
Your words are non-threatening and confident, and you listen.
Yeah.
And you're genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You put whatever shit is aside that came before, and all the things you're going to be doing in the future aside. You're in the now, you're in the now, you're in the now, in the now, in the now.
Yeah.
With the person, right?
Yeah.
So
make them seen, make them heard.
Yeah.
Be in the now with your community.
Well, it's difficult, like I'm not saying it's easier said than done.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially with a big group.
Yeah.
But what's important, and you're not always going to get it right, but there are no wrongs. There are just learning opportunities, right? So nothing's wrong. It's just an opportunity to learn more with people, with the activity, with the community. You can make a mistake. Apologise for your mistakes for sure. Just don't make them too frequently. It's probably because then you look incompetent, right?
Yeah, true.
So make sure things are polished. People like polished, but if it's unpolished, intentionally have it unpolished. Like social media stuff. People use their unpolished videos, and they're very popular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true, because it's more realistic. It's more like life. Feels raw. Feels like you're closer to the people because they haven't mucked around with it too much.
Totally. Yeah.
Brilliant. Speaking of people, we're almost done. How are you going?
I'm good. Yeah.
We're getting close to the end now.
Just hoping I'm not the answers are not too lengthy.
They're the perfect length.
Right. Good.
They're just the right length. So one question, I didn't actually have this there for you, but it will be easy to answer.
Right.
It's only a new question I'm asking now. You mentioned networking. One thing I'm going to start asking people is, if you were to put someone forward for this show, who would it be? Who's someone who is, in your opinion, someone who's really worth talking to about like mentoring, anything to do with business, and even just generally like philosophy, life? You just think they're just someone who knows many things. Wow. Wisdom-rich people.
Wisdom-rich people. Jeez.
Maybe that was a poor way to put it. I don't know.
No, it's there's a few people, key people, and it's a good question, because what it's made me realise is I have neglected a section in my community. Do you know there's a guy, the Orchestra in Newcastle?
Yeah.
Those guys that head that up are really interesting characters, Mark and Jane.
Yeah.
For me, because it's the theme that I am, they're kind of they're similar to what I run, and they're very successful at what they do.
The Orchestra, is that ukulele?
Ukulele, teachers.
Okay.
There's a guy over the other side here, Creator Incubator, Braddon, and he's running a space for 150 artists. I mean, I think that's successful. I don't know Braddon too well, but from what I observe from afar, there's Kathy just down here that's Upcycle Newcastle.
Yeah.
That she just recycled 600 tons of 600 kilos of fabric to people's pillows and stuff at the Living Smart Festival down in one day.
Wow.
So she does that. But the people that probably the most inspiring person that I know, because I've been thinking about while I'm giving you the other answers, is my uni friend Heather Stevens.
Yeah.
She's head of sustainability in Newcastle Council.
Really?
And, yeah, she's a go-getter. She's taught kids in China. She's been an IT specialist for Korean email platform. She's made solar powered ovens and tried to sell those. She's an entrepreneur, but she's also head of sustainability in Newcastle.
Wow. What would you ask her?
What would I ask Heather?
Yeah, if you were me.
What would I ask Heather? Do you ever rest?
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Awesome. I was listening before when you said you prefer not to talk about your personal life. I did have a question for you about being a new father.
Oh yeah, it's fine.
And the only reason I asked this question, it is going to be for me.
Right.
But I have lots of friends who have just become parents.
Right.
And I just bet that must be full of questions and not wrong moments, but learning moments. And I guess if you could, maybe give them a few tips, what would you say so far from what you've known? Like, what's been the most useful thing you learned about being a father so far?
Well, the useful thing is that self-maintenance, self-regulation. It's really hard to self-maintain and like all this sort of utopian stuff that you have before children, of like maintaining, getting up early, drinking smoothies, doing yoga, exercising, making time for yourself, running your business, whatever it is. Kids add such an incredible layer. So I was ready for a single baby, but what we ended up with was twins, right? So it is full on. It's to not sugarcoat things. It is so vastly more time consuming, energy consuming than I could ever imagine, and nobody could have prepared me. Okay. So it's seriously beyond. It's the hardest thing I've ever had to do. Like, it's the hardest thing, hands down, harder than any uni degree, any relationship breakup, any loss in life that I've had, because it's just ongoing, and you've got these two beautiful gifts that you've been given that have entered your life, and now they're here forever. When I do preschool shows, I do an hour and I can be high energy and give them back. These guys are game on all the time.
Yeah.
And that is amazing. So how do I self-sustain, self-regulate, be there for my partner, be there for my community? Well, I've had to I've had to ask favours from the community.
Yeah.
And that is hard, but I'm generous with my effort and my giving to people. So, it's reciprocal, and reciprocity is key, Yeah. And it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Yeah.
So there's no nuclear family in our sense.
Yeah.
But it's a model that we have to keep revisiting. And
yeah.
My little two are now 14 months old, and they spend a month in hospital because I'm so preemie, so they're 13 months corrected. But I wouldn't change it for the world. To have a girl and a boy, I think it's a part of my life jigsaw puzzle that was missing. And so it's certainly...
Life jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Why do you say that?
Well, because there's all these parts: work, partner, career, travel, destinations, people that you're going to meet, things you're going to do. Have kids is, part of the mosaic, right? And so it's not ticked as a life. This might be the only thing. It's happened. So for me, again, where I'm at in life, and I've mentioned age a couple of times, and I'm just very aware of it because of I've done things older than most people, because I imagine your friends are a lot younger than I am that are having kids, and I would probably right now recommend to have kids younger because you've got more energy, but at the same time I'm older and I've done more, so
that's the trade up.
It's the trade up. But energy levels to sustain myself is tough, you know.
So what's your hot tip with that one? How do you keep your energy up?
Go to bed early.
Okay.
Say no to everything that comes up. Movie, social life, go to bed early, recharge. Because tomorrow's another day and you're going to have to meet it head on.
Yeah. I'm 30 now and I'm already a fan of an 8 o'clock bedtime.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I don't. I go to bed at 10. Yeah. My partner does not let me go to bed before that.
Oh, really?
Because we need us time.
Yeah, that's right. Once the kids are asleep.
Yeah.
That's got to be your time.
But my little fella, he starts at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
So every moment after 10, which last night was 11:30.
Yeah. And
then I was up for at least an hour, maybe an hour and a half through the night.
Yeah.
So you do the maths on that sleep time, it's not a lot.
No.
And so I'm functioning every day like that now. Yeah. It's incredible.
Wow, thanks for that one. All right, final 2 questions. The last one is how we finish the show, and you're answering from our guest Nancy Boutet, who is an amazing go-getter lady. When you mentioned that lady that should go on the show, it reminded me instantly of Nancy. She's a go-getter in so many ways. And her question for you was,
what can you take from anybody you meet to either improve your life and your attitude toward life, or to learn what to take out of your life to be a better person?
Yeah, well, that opportunity of listening, and that somebody will have a lesson for you or a gift to share with you. It's just how long does it take for it to come out? But listening, key. Be ready for the gifts that everybody has, because everybody's life is different, you know, and there might be just a gift there. I also inspiration. I'm inspired by people, the way they choose to do things, or you know what they have done. And what to take out always is judgment. You can always let go of I can always let go of judgment, right? To not judge people on whatever life choices they've made. Just accept people for who they are right in front of you. And it dissolves all sorts of race and religious kind of elements. If you just see the person right in front of you for who they are as another human, just doing their thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. And stitched you up a little bit. Didn't send this one through to you earlier, but do you have a question to leave for our next guest, who you don't know? Mystery, out to the ether.
Yeah. What's your recipe for your own personal sustainability?
What's your recipe for your own personal sustainability?
Yeah.
Feels like that one's coming from the parenting part.
yeah. But it's in business.
Yeah.
In business, it's key too.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Well, that actually brings us to the end of the show.
Yeah. Awesome, Alec. Yeah.
Thank you so much for sitting with me. I've been waiting for a long time for this one because I asked you ages ago.
Yes.
And then I went away overseas and travelled, and you know, you got all your business to run, a family. Yeah. So thank you so much for. We've been going for an hour and a half now.
Right.
I appreciate this time. Time is invaluable. It's the most valuable thing we have, and I thank you so much for giving me your time, and not just that, but so much wisdom. Yeah. Like there was times my body was tingling. I was like, whoa, you're just like throwing like lightning bolts of wisdom at me, and I'm like,
Yeah. Oh, good. Well, good. Yeah, like it's so important not to fill the space with fluff.
Yeah.
You know, life is too short. You know, it's every moment is an opportunity, and it really is. It goes so fast.
Yeah.
And I mean, each day is afresh, but it just goes so quickly, that opportunity, and the next one's here on it. So, no, look, I really thanks for persevering. I know we almost got it over the line before you went away, but having the babies, I was just settling into new space, new paradigm, new routine.
Yeah. This is the moment now when we got to do it, and I'm very grateful for it. Thank you for the opportunity to do this.
Awesome, no worries, and thanks to your mum for putting you on to me.
Brilliant, thanks. Thank you for listening to the final part of our interview with Benjie. Next week we have a new guest on Between Views. We'll speak with Grant Prest about the birth of Three Fingers Surf Sync. A surf sync that is absolutely changing the game. This will be released the coming Monday. Next, if you're one of our regular listeners, or even if you're new here, I'd like to invite you to leave a star rating for us on Spotify or Apple Music, or hit subscribe on YouTube. This genuinely helps us to get discovered by new listeners, and would be epic if you could help us out. Thirdly, Between Views is opening its Patreon community. If you'd like to join the community and receive weekly updates and ideas, then you can check it out at patreon.com/betweenviews. In other news, Between Views is always looking for collaborators. If you want to join the team or create something together, then please reach out on Instagram. Finally, if you know someone who deserves to be interviewed or just have some feedback, then send us an email at betweenviewsbv@gmail.com or message us on Instagram. Thanks again, and see you soon. Between Views.